Hello and welcome
to Let Me Be Your Game Guide.
And this is a seance episode.
These episodes feature games of the horror genre.
So grab your salt and holy water
as we voluntarily scare ourselves this week.
I'm your host, Emma.
And I'm your host, Shawn.
Join us for this week's rating episode
as we commune with the beyond
and enter the gaming spirit world. For the remainder of this episode, let me be your game guide. Spooky. You're supposed to say with me.
Oh, shit. Sorry. Somebody had to fill in with the ghost.
You're noises, right. Right. No, you were doing the ghost. That's totally fine.
I thought I was leaving you the solo at the end, and I was backing up as a solid backup dancer does.
I appreciate it. Yes, that's the best. Well, welcome.
Welcome back.
We are missing a person today.
Yeah, Mr. Rylan.
Yeah, he will be missed.
He had some life stuff going on. Had to take care of that, which is, of course, understandable. So
yeah, I guess. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, freaking jerk. No. He had some stuff going on, so he will not be in this week. But thanks for stopping in.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember the last time it's just been you and I for the podcast. Was it like two falls?
Yeah, two falls last year. So this time last year almost.
Almost. Yeah. So it's a Emma and Shawn takeover.
Heck yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, and today we're talking about Slay the Princess.
Yeah.
This was a listener request. So thank you, Brandon, for requesting this game.
Thank you, Brandon.
We love when listeners request games.
Yes.
We do.
We do. We do. It really is great because there's a lot of games that have been chosen throughout the last year and a half or whatever that I would never have picked.
Yeah.
Like, it's not in my genre. It's not in my wheelhouse. Not things I'm looking at. So it's really nice to get that expansion of my view of like, oh, there are these really cool different games that just don't hit my genre.
Yeah.
Or other games.
So we're going to talk about that and we're going to rate it today. It's going to the rating episodes we try to keep spoiler free, but if we're being completely honest, because of the nature of this game, it's hard to rate and talk about it without being completely spoiler free. So if you haven't played this game and you're wanting to go in blind, I would play it before listening to either the rating or the discussion episode.
Yeah.
But we're going to do our best to stay as spoiler free as possible.
Yeah.
It's just difficult. It's just one of those games that's just really hard to talk about without spoiling.
It's a very story driven game. So it's really hard to talk about a lot of these aspects without saying a little bit about the game. Yeah. So, normally we're really good about not spoiling, but this one, trigger warning, we might spoil slightly.
Yes.
So,
yeah. Well, let me just, you know what? And we said this time last year we were talking about Two Falls, we have to talk about what we were rating. Well, I guess we were discussing this time last year. Do you remember what game it was? It was your pick.
Oh shit! Well, Two Falls was the last time. Well, around this time last year.
It was around this time last year, but that's not what we were discussing. It was your pick, and I'll give you a hint. It was a game that had to do with family.
It wasn't Children of Morta, though, because we already played that, right? Or was it?
It was.
Oh,
yeah.
Heck yeah.
We were rating Children of Morta this time last week. And so this time, last year, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get what you're putting down.
This time last year, we were discussing Children of Morta.
Oh.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
So good job. You guessed it.
That's the first time and maybe the only time I will guess that right.
Well, I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I really tried my best.
Well, let me give you a semi-spoiler-free game description. I'll tell you about the developers, and then Shawn, I'll let you take it away, leading us in the rating section.
Sure.
So, Slay the Princess is a horror visual novel where you, slay the princess. At least that's what the narrator is telling you to do. But don't worry, this is a love story. Slay the princess, save the princess, explore the many paths you can take as you uncover the mystery of this bloody, gory, and torturous love story.
Yeah.
So Slay the Princess was developed by Black Tabby Games. It was published by Black Tabby Games and Serenity Forge. And it's available on PC, Mac, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4 and 5, and Xbox Series X and S and X. It was originally released October 23rd, 2023, and then the Pristine Cut, which is what we played, released the year after, October 24th, 2024. And when it's not on sale, this game is $17.99. A little bit about Black Tabby Games. This is a developer duo. Toei. Dang, I felt like I was in like a flow state, and then I just said
so
Toei. Tony Howard Arias, and Abby Howard. Tony worked in IT and media before co-founding Black Tabby Games with Abby. And Abby is a cartoonist. Check out her work. We'll link it in the show notes. If you're familiar with The Last Halloween, The Crossroads at Midnight, or Junior Scientist's Power Hour, these are things that she's worked on. And I took a look. She seems to be really into the horror genre. So,
okay.
Yes,
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because this game is spooky.
It is
It's
spooky.
very spooky and very gory.
Yeah, very gory.
Together, Tony and Abby are also in the middle of releasing Scarlet Hollow. It's an immersive horror mystery game. Also a visual novel, if I'm understanding correctly from what I've looked at.
Okay.
But it seems a little bit more... there's a little bit more to it than Slay the Princess's visual novel style, which we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
And it's also episodic.
Oh.
I think that's how you say that word.
I'm not smart, so that sounds right.
And the 5th episode released in February. So
that's very interesting. They're doing it that way, kind of like The Walking Dead or The Wolf. I forget the name of the rest of that, but very similar style from Telltale. They did it in episodes, and that was a huge hit. So
I always think that's really interesting, and I feel like with story based games especially, it seems like they're really into the visual novel genre. I feel like that would work really well. I think that Arctic Awakening, which we covered earlier this year, was that earlier this year or was that last year? God, I don't even remember. I think it was the end of last year.
I think it was the end of last year, yeah.
That was supposed to be released in episodes, and then they ended up just releasing it in bulk. But yeah, I always think that's interesting. So I'd be curious to check it out. Everything is hand-drawn by Abby, just like, we'll talk about it later, but Slay the Princess was also hand-drawn by Abby. And I will say the graphics of this game, the drawing style, amazing in a gruesome way.
Yeah, for sure.
Like very gruesome, very graphic.
Very graphic, but well done for sure. I mean, it looks good.
Yeah. And before we really get into the episode, I do want to say I have linked the content warnings in the show notes. So if that's something that you feel you need to check before playing a game, there are some pretty intense themes. And it gets a little graphic. So if you're sensitive to certain themes, I would definitely check out the content warnings. There can be some spoilers in there, so be careful. But if it's something that you need to check before playing a game, I recommend clicking that link and taking a look before you continue listening or before you play.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Well, there is no accessibility report before we really get into the rating. Unfortunately, I could not find one, but if that changes, we will update that in the show notes. And real quick before we begin the episode, don't forget to give the podcast a follow, rate it, review it, however you want to show us love. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/letmebeyourgg, where you can view episodes early as they post sometime on Sunday, a couple days before the episode posts everywhere else. You can also find us on most socials as Let Me Be Your GG, and we're on Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, and X. You can find us on TikTok as Let Me Be Your Game Guide with no spaces, and you can also email us at letmebeyourgg@gmail.com. This is the best way to send in game requests, just like Brandon did. Just make sure to include game request in the subject line so it's easy for us to find.
Yeah. And now, what you've all been rating for.
Wow.
Somebody had to fill in.
Wow.
I'm not as good as the pro, but I'm here.
That's great.
Yeah, somebody's got to be the backup quarterback. So.
Well, actually, Shawn, I'll let you take over.
Sure.
We're going to split hosting, and it's your turn.
All right, here we go. So we take into account general considerations such as length, challenge rating, and replayability. We also consider storage Storage.
Storage and narrative topics. It's a loosey-goosey episode.
It really is. Yeah. How many gigs? We also consider story and narrative topics, including plot, characters, and world building. Presentation topics, including graphics, sound design, and music. Gameplay topics, including content variety and mechanics. And lastly, we consider the overall value of the game. So, as we're rating, the first thing that we like to talk about is the length. How long did we play this game for? So, Emma, how long did you play this game for?
I played this game for 3.3 hours.
How do you count a third of an hour?
I don't know. That's just
I guess 20 minutes, right?
Me.
Yeah, I'm stupid. Never mind. It's catching up to me now, folks. And it's been a long day.
I will say that Rylan also told me he played for 3 hours. So.
Yeah, I think I don't know exactly, but probably between 3 and 4. I said 5 at the most.
Yeah,
but probably 3 to 4 hours. So
yeah. And this is just I think each one of us doing one run through of the game. Mm-hmm. This game is not really meant to be played as just a single playthrough. It is replayable by nature, and I think you should replay it if you enjoy your first run through. Because that's really the only way you're going to uncover the plot, which we'll talk about next week. We won't get into this week.
Emma's got all the deets.
I got all the deets.
So,
yes.
All right. So next, we're going to talk about the challenge rating. So our scale starts at beginner, escalates to easy, then moderate, difficult, and tops out at expert. So how would you rate this game? Was it hard? Not hard.
Mentally, it was difficult.
Oh, it was a grudge to get through, in my opinion. But
I put it at beginner.
Yeah,
it's a visual novel with not even any sort of extra gameplay on top of that visual novel aspect. So there's not a lot to it. There's a little mystery as to what's going on, but mechanically and honestly, any sort of gameplay wise, I think it's beginner. Yeah,
I would agree. It's very much just here's your options. You click that option, and then your character moves on its own and does whatever you're saying it does. So there's no puzzles, there's no challenging stuff. I mean, there is a story that you're following and some clues that you're trying to figure out in that regard, but I would say beginner. It's not much harder than that, I think. So
yeah, I think the only difficult part would be if you struggle with reading, if you have any like learning disabilities that affect your ability to read, or any sort of I guess since there's no accessibility report, I'm not sure if screen readers work good with this game or anything like that.
Sure.
So this game is reading.
This game is a lot of reading.
It's a lot of reading. Yeah. So if that is something that you're not a huge fan of or that you struggle with, it is voice acted. So
yeah, you can get through a lot of it, but I will also caveat on what you're saying about accessibility, because there's definitely sometimes with the way that they color some of the lettering against some of the backgrounds, it's kind of hard to tell exactly what's being said.
Yeah.
So if you have any like color blindness or hard of sight or something like that, you might have a hard time seeing some of that. So yeah. So it all depends on how a screen reader works with that text, because I said it was voice acted, but your choices are not voice acted. Yeah. So just be aware of that. Yeah. All right, we're moving on to our target audience. Who's going to be our target audience for a story horror game?
I think this is definitely meant for people who are big visual novel fans.
Yeah.
I think that's... You need to be a fan of a visual novel, because if you're not, this is going to be hard to get through.
Yeah, definitely. You really, a big fan of visual novels, for sure. Or if you just like a horror mystery and you're just trying to like have a fun game, or you just kind of sit down and pick some choices and see what happens, by all means, you can do that as well.
It's pretty, I would say, thought-provoking, I guess, especially if you get down into the nitty gritty of what's really going on. It brings up some interesting like points that are a little theoretical.
Yeah, definitely makes you think a little bit. So if you're looking for maybe a little bit more of a headier, thought-provoking game, then that's a great point.
Yeah, but just be prepared. It's a visual novel through and through.
Through and through, yeah. Let's see. We kind of touched on this a little bit, but replayability.
ESRB rating.
Oh, ESRB rating. It is M for mature, blood and gore, intense violence, language, strong language, not just language, but strong language.
Yeah.
Nudity, partial nudity, and violence. So,
did I put violence on there twice?
no, I just said it.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. I really whipped this up quick.
No, there was a lot of violence in it. A lot of strong language. So yeah, just really be prepared. It's not a kiddo's game. This has really got some deeper things going on.
Yeah, play it after the kids go to bed for sure.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so replayability. We talked about it a little bit that this game is it needs to be replayable so you can get the rest of the plot. How do you feel about your one playthrough? Would you replay it?
I wish that I had time to play through it again.
Sure.
This is not, I do like visual novels, but this was a little too much reading for me. So it was hard to get through my first playthrough. It was a little tiring.
Yeah.
But when I did get through the ending, I was like, dang, I kind of want to play again. I need to kind of figure out what's going on.
Sure.
So I think that it's definitely replayable, especially if you like a game like this. I was surprised because I usually like visual novels, but I don't think I've played a visual novel that doesn't have any sort of extra gameplay aspects where, there's really no point and click. Sometimes you get that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So I didn't have the chance to replay it, unfortunately. Mostly because it wasn't really my style.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Yeah, but I think we all gave it a shot. And I did read up a lot about the endings and kind of the plot overall, which I got most of the plot from my first ending, but there's multiple endings to be talked about.
Yeah, I I only played it through the one time, but I think I also struggled with this. I'm not a huge story novel guy. It's not something that I've ever been into. Like even Telltale, I played like the first 2 episodes and I'm like, I'm kind of done. Like this is kind of and that had more gameplay in it than this did. So it was okay, but yeah, I don't think that I will be replaying it. So especially coming off of Mio, where it was Metroidvania, we're like all over the place, you're doing crazy stuff, to a reader, I'm like,
it was pretty jarring.
That was
for
a
sure.
hard shift. Yeah. So that first hour was like, oh, this is rough. And I had to just adjust my mindset to, this isn't Mio, this is something else. And you got to give it its time too. So so I only played it the one time. I probably won't replay it again with the time that I played it. It was a little bit of a struggle for me to finish this.
Your first one.
My first one. Yeah. So
I was thinking about this. I feel like this might actually be a fun game to play in a group.
Definitely.
With the right group, that's okay with violence and horror and stuff like that. But because there are so many different paths and choices, I think playing it as a group to kind of like everyone gets a turn choosing.
Sure.
I think that could be really fun.
And you could do it in a night too, because it's like a short enough game where like if you started at 5 o'clock, you'd be done by 8:30 and like done.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
yeah,
that's a good point.
Yeah.
All right. We shall be moving on to the story and narrative section of our rating. The first point that we're going to talk about is the plot.
Yeah, and we rate these 1 through 5.
Yeah, 1 is sucky, 5 is good. So yeah, 5's the best, 1 is the worst.
Yeah,
so.
And you've got my scores over there, and you're going to see that I do change them. They don't stay that way because
shoot.
I'm giving the plot a 4.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't disappoint when we're talking about the storyline. I think that the whole, the idea behind it is very unique. It's very creative. And it gets you thinking.
Yeah.
It really does kind of, you think about, what it means to be alive and what it means to die and kind of that cycle. And I'm not getting too into it, but I thought it was interesting. So I'm giving it a 4. it just it took a long time to get there.
It was a slow burn, even though it was a 3.5 hour game. What you did in that 3.5 hours was slow.
It felt long.
It felt very long.
It felt like I played it for 10 hours.
Yes, I would agree.
Yeah.
I definitely felt like that. And yeah, even when you're playing through it, you're going through all these sections, and there's multiple spots that you have to kind of repeat.
Yeah.
And yeah, you get through one, and I'm like, oh man, that must have been like 2 or 3 hours. 40 minutes, that was it. Like,
yeah.
Holy cow. So
yeah, and I want to say I'm separating the way that I like felt about this game from my ratings, because I think in a lot of aspects this game was very well done.
I agree.
It just was not my style.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just to preface that, I think a lot of people really like this game, as they should.
Sure.
I think it's really well done. I think the graphics are beautiful, but you're gonna probably hear some like lackluster comments, and I don't want people to be like, "This is a good game," because I recognize that it is a good game. It's just not my style.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I think I had a hard time. Again, just coming from Mio and then into this, and it's also not a genre that I'm really into anyway. It was just hard to get into it. So, not saying that it doesn't have its praise, definitely does. But I would agree, it just wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah,
so.
don't add us. Don't come for us.
Yeah, don't hate us. Sorry. I would say I give the plot a I'll do a traditional 3.5.
3.5, classic.
Classic. Someone's got to do it. So I'll give it a 3.5. I think that the plot was good, and this is a big part of the game, is having a very good plot to a story game. So I thought it was good. I just felt that it was almost somewhat repetitive in the options that you had to choose to find out different options, which was fun in its own right. But it's just kind of a slow burning story game. And so if you're into that, by all means, play it up. Just wasn't my thing. So
yeah. Yep.
Yeah. All right. So we're moving on. We're talking about the characters. What did you think about the characters?
So there's a surprisingly large amount of characters, even though realistically it's just 3 of you.
Yeah.
There's you, there's the princess, and then you are led by a narrator.
Yes.
However, you are introduced to many, many, many versions of the princess.
Yep.
And yourself.
Yeah.
I thought that was very interesting. At the beginning, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I am so confused. Like, what the hell? And we'll talk about this next week. I'm curious to hear if our, like, initial part of the game was the same. I imagine it is.
Sure, yeah.
But, yeah, I was so confused. But then you start burning through the game, and I kept being like, oh, okay, so, like, this decision led me to this version of myself and the princess, and you kind of see the correlations between versions of yourself and versions of the princess, and how your choices change that. So I thought it was interesting. I'm giving characters a 4. I thought it was cool. What about you?
I would say a 4 too. I really did like, depending on the choices that you made, kind of altered what characters you were going to see and hear. So I thought that was really cool. That definitely gave a little bit of variety and a little bit shook it up a little bit. You weren't doing the same thing over and over, which it did feel like at times. But the characters were really cool, and it was cool to see the different I guess versions of each character as you were choosing through your path. So very cool. World building. We're rating world building next, and I'll start this time. I think I'm gonna give it a 3 because there wasn't I mean, you visited like 3 spots repeatedly. 4 spots. Repeatedly.
Yep.
And those spots did change depending on what happened with your choices. But there was really just 4 spots, and they kind of give you a little bit of context about what was going on / some other stuff that happens. But I didn't feel like I was really like in it per se, because the space was different. So play the game and you'll find out. I
agree with you. I'd probably give it a 3 as well. I it's difficult because you're only in these 3 spots, but there's talk about a lot of things going on around you.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was also a specific version of the princess took me to a place that gave me like a view of the outside.
Yeah.
Which was weird.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll give it a 3. I don't think world building wise there's a lot there. Mostly because you're confined to this space. And it kind of feels like the Matrix. Like you're like, am I actually here? Like, is this a simulation?
For
like what's going on? So 3, it was interesting, but I don't think that it wowed me as much as the characters and the overall plot did.
Sure. All right. We're moving on. We're talking about presentation topics now. And the first topic is graphics. So with all this hand-drawn art, how do we feel about that?
I mean, we've talked about it a little bit, but I thought that the graphics were a 5.
Yeah.
It was such a unique style. It's mostly black and white. I don't think there's any color. Maybe a little red. I can't remember.
Yeah, there's like some reds and some like browns and like different shades of like blacks and browns, but that's kind of it.
It's very monotone.
Yeah.
But somehow it's very, very gory. Very graphic.
Yeah.
And just the ways in which the princess was drawn and illustrated, very creative.
Yeah, definitely. And like her different facial expressions or the way her body moves in different ways was very cool. So
yeah, I was always excited every time I was going down to see the princess. I was like, okay, what's she gonna look like this time? What am I getting myself into?
100%. Yeah.
So I give graphics a 5.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I thought the hand-drawn style was really cool too. We haven't seen like too much of that recently, so it was really fun to kind of have that experience again and seeing that. And it was well done. I mean, the graphics were really good. So I would agree.
For sure.
All right. We're talking about the sound design and music now. The beats, some may say.
The beats.
What are your thoughts on said beats?
I don't remember very much music-wise.
Yeah.
But I thought that the voice acting was fantastic.
It was really good, yeah.
And I will say, I was trying to like jump in. Ryland did try and text us some notes, so I was seeing if anything he sent could be talked about. And he said that the voice acting was cool. I think he actually said cool.
The voice acting was aight. Just 2 people. Cool.
There we go. That's yeah. And so I'll link the full credits in the show notes, but the voice acting I thought was very well done, especially because you're hearing multiple voices at the same time, and even though it's voiced by the same person, you can definitely tell a difference between them, which I thought was very impressive.
Yeah, just the acting that it took to do all of those different voices. Very impressive. Yeah. So, I would agree. I think I also agree. I don't remember much of the music either. It was really a lot of the voice acting was just stellar. So I give it a 4.
Yeah. Nice. Did I give it a rating? Did I say that already?
I don't think so.
I'm giving it a 4.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
Let me look up the voice actors real quick.
Sure. I'll just keep her moving here.
You keep going, and I'm just gonna. I want to be able to shout them out, and I didn't get them originally, so
sure. Okay, so the next topic that we are going to discuss is the gameplay. So there's 2 sections in this: content variety and mechanics, and we're going to start with content variety. I would have to say I would probably give this a 3. At first, I feel like there's a lot of variety, and there still is even in some of the choices that you choose. If you kind of go down the same path that you had before, it does continue to branch out more and more, but I really felt like a lot of the questions were just really repetitive to get to the spot where you're like, oh, here's some new stuff. Especially after a few times of doing it. So I'd give it a 3. I thought it was okay, but there wasn't a lot there to add variety to outside of just the characters and things, which is great, if you're into that.
Yeah. I was tempted to give this a 2 because there's really not a lot going on, but story wise and path wise, choices wise, you have a lot. But I think I'm still gonna give it a 2. Not even in a bad way. It's a visual novel. There's not a lot of like mechanical content. It really is just choices and plot driven. So there's a lot there, but it gets a little repetitive with the very first. We'll talk about it next week. If you haven't played and you don't know what we're talking about, you'll hear about it next week.
Yeah, sounds good.
And real quick, I will say that our voice actors, we have Nicole Goodnight, who voiced the princess, and Jonathan Sims, who voiced the narrator and all the voices.
Wow. That guy's impressive.
Your voices, I suppose. Yeah. So Jonathan Sims, shout out.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That guy's the man.
And Nicole, you switch up the princess's voice a lot as well.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, just great voice acting. I'll link them in the show notes if you want to check out their other stuff.
Yeah, very cool. Okay, we have 3 things left to discuss. The first thing, the last thing that we're going to talk about in the gameplay section is mechanics. So, how were the mechanics for you?
4. They're not bad.
Yeah.
You know, there's not a lot of mechanics going on. It's just choices.
Yeah.
But I'm dinging it a point because the skipping function didn't work for me.
Me too. Yeah.
I think we talked about this a little bit, but yeah, there is a skip function. You should be able to skip through content. It just didn't work when I was playing, and so that kind of sucked. I know that they put it in there for a reason. It just wasn't working for me.
Yeah. I had the same thing that happened to me. I was having a hard time with the skips, which is not important at first, but becomes very important later on.
Yes.
So, so I would give it a 4 also. Everything else worked fine, but it's also just you point at what choice you want and you click the button. So it's not like there's a lot going on there.
No.
So, okay. The next thing that we're going to talk about is the value of this game. At $17.99, would you pay that to play this game again?
It sucks because, you know, we do the research on the developers, and this is obviously like they put a lot of work into it, and I think it was really well done, just not for me.
Yeah.
So I would not, but that's just because this is not my style of game.
Sure.
But I think that if you're into this sort of thing, $17.99, not that bad.
Yeah, not that bad. I'm agreeing with you in the aspect of, yes, it's not really my game either.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would necessarily pay the $17.99.
Yeah.
But if someone was like really into story-driven games, and this is something that you want to continue to play because you could continue to keep playing and get more of the plot and more of the story, it may be a good game for you. So, just not for us. So.
I don't think $17.99 is an outrageous price for this game.
No, honestly, if it was like a little over $10, it'd be like, oh, okay, that's not bad. But yeah.
But I also understand the amount of work that went into creating it. I mean, it's hand drawn. It's beautiful.
It took a long time to do.
Yeah, you have to really coordinate kind of the choices and where those go. I know choose your own adventure type stuff is just, it takes a lot of planning. And so, yeah, I can appreciate the grind.
Yeah.
$17.99 is fine.
Yeah. No, hey, we might get a little flack like we did for Firewatch, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. All right. The last thing that we're going to talk about is our final rating of this game. Emma, what's the final rating that you're giving this game?
I'm not going to waver on my original rating that I wrote down in my notes.
Do it.
I'm putting it at a 3.8.
Wow.
Yes, I can appreciate the game. I think it's unique. I think if you like a story-driven game like this, where it's a lot of choices matter and you want something to think about, it might score higher for you. But I'm putting it at 3.8. I think it deserves to be near a 4. For me personally, it just doesn't make it in there.
Yeah. That's honestly higher than I thought you were going to give it.
Yeah, I know.
Because I'm going a little bit lower. So I'm going to go with a 3.2.
You're still in the 3s.
I'm still in the 3s. I'm giving it that much because it was I mean, the art style and the voice acting saved this game for me.
Yes. Yeah.
Everything else was really hard to get through, in my opinion, because again, it's just not my style of game either. So, I really appreciated the art though, and the voice acting was really good. So yeah, 3.2.
Yeah.
That's it.
I don't think Rylan sent us his final rating.
I think he did. Actually.
Oh, did he really?
Maybe. Let me look. Oh no, he just sent how long he played.
Let's guess his final rating.
I
think it's going to be in the 2s.
I think it's going to be in the 2s also.
Rylan unfortunately did not like this game.
No, he did not like this game.
It's probably good for the sanity of our podcast to not have him on right now, because he would be pissed.
Yeah, he'd be pretty fired up.
He just didn't like it.
No.
Again, he doesn't think it's a bad game. Or maybe he does. I shouldn't speak for him. But he disliked this game.
Yeah, I mean, if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you know how Rylan does not like a walking sim, and this is just slightly adjacent.
This is
from
a sitting
that.
sim.
Yeah,
this is
even worse.
Yeah, this is
move.
a reading and listening sim.
Yeah, so you could probably expect what Rylan's saying right now. So
yeah, I'm gonna guess. Rylan, don't listen to this before you tell us your rating.
Yeah, we need to know, but don't tell us.
So I'm gonna guess a 2.7.
I think I'm gonna go 2.5.
That was my original, but I was like, no.
Yeah, okay.
Well, it's set in stone. Those are our guesses. We'll see how close we get. We'll talk to Rylan. Text him right now.
I'll text him. Hold on.
See how fast he can get back to us. Well, if Rylan gets back to us, I will insert it into we'll record it and I'll throw it in here, or I'll record it on my own. Maybe he'll text us later, and when I'm editing, I'll just edit my own voice in.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I did text him. I asked what his rating was, but he hasn't gotten back yet. So
we'll see. Yeah.
So do you want to finish? Do you want me to finish?
You close it out, because
okay.
I feel like I'm gonna just take over all of next episode.
You will completely. Okay. This concludes the rating episode for Slay the Princess. Please join us next week for the discussion episode as we dive into the details of this game and all its hidden gems. If you haven't played this game yet and this sounds like something that you may be interested in, I hope you find some time to play it before tuning in next week. Please go and give the podcast a follow, rate it, review it, however you want to show us love. You can email us with any comments, questions, or constructive criticism at letmebeyourgg@gmail.com. You can also send us game requests if there's something you would like us to play. Just make sure to include game requests in the subject line so it's easy for us to find. You can find us on most socials as letmebeyourgg with no spaces. That's Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, or X. And you can find us on TikTok as Let Me Be Your Game Guide with no spaces. Our Patreon can be found at patreon.com/letmebeyourgg. Thank you so much for listening. We can't wait to see you next week. Or hear you next week. And thank you so much for letting me be your game guide. GG, y'all.
Bye. 6-7.
Yes,
I did that just for you.
I don't know if you heard, but told me that 6-7's dead now. Yeah.
Then it makes sense that we're saying it on the podcast.
I almost texted Rylan, but the next day I immediately told him, like, first thing as I came in, I'm like, Rylan, you need to know that 6-7's dead now. We can't use it anymore. He's like,
if anything, we should be using it more.
We should. We're bringing it back.
Yeah. Well, all right. 6-7. Bye.